Okay, so you've got your notes on trapezoids and kites. There are some things we've already learned that still hold true with the trapezoid. In fact, if I were to pull up your test from last week, I have juniors in my hands because we hadn't come to zero period. There's a trapezoid on number 8. Number 8 was a trapezoid. You've already done problems with trapezoids on tests. We know there's some in the interior. It's still going to be n minus 2 times 180. So 4 minus 2 times 180 is still 360. Okay, the first thing I see, though, there are some characteristics, and it's that the same sides add up to 180. So same side would be like, hold on, I've lost my train of thought, which is bad. Don't you hate that? Did I give it to you? Derek, did I give you my key? I'm going to start questioning myself in about half a second, which is never good. I hate when I do that. No, I've done misplaced it. It'll be okay. I do know a thing or two about geometry, I swear. Okay, so we know that this angle and this angle are supposed to add up to 180. And this angle are supposed to add up to 180. So if I wanted to make a key to myself, a 1 rainbow plus a 2 rainbow adds up to 180 degrees. They're supplementary. That's one thing you need to know about a trapezoid. Check. The next thing you need to know about a trapezoid is probably what the sides are called. They're not called sides. Each part has a special name. So this is called a base, and this is also a base. The top and the bottom are bases. And then what do we call it on furniture, the part that connects us to the ground? Legs, which is what we're going to call it here too. Leg. So it has 2 bases and 2 legs. Okay, and that's really all you can know about a regular trapezoid. Any old regular trapezoid, that's what happens. There is a special kind of trapezoid, hence you have your bubbles, hence the tiny bubble inside, that says isosceles trapezoid. And it's a special kind of trapezoid where the legs are congruent. So if the legs are congruent, then it's an isosceles trapezoid. And I tend to just put trap because I don't want to spell out trapezoid. Okay, and then I probably should go back and fix this, because what I've done makes it look like the base angles are congruent. They are not congruent unless it's an isosceles trapezoid. So I should probably add some extra rainbows. Make that a 3 rainbow. Make that a 4. Do something so they don't match. These two don't match unless it is an isosceles trapezoid. In an isosceles trapezoid, the base angles match. So that means the bottom angles match and the top angles match. That's what this is telling you. Base angles match, or base angles are congruent. Okay, so an isosceles trapezoid has 2 characteristics, one of which I've already given away, which is that the base angles match. The second is that the diagonals are congruent. This is only true in an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so we have a couple problems we need to solve, and then we have a theorem that I'll put on the board for the test, but you really do need to learn it in life. It wants to know the measure of angle D for number 1. The measure of angle D. Now, it depends. There's something wrong with this picture. If this is a regular trapezoid, we can't solve this problem. It's over. The only way we can solve this problem is if we know it's an isosceles trapezoid. Because if it was an isosceles trapezoid, then a 125 would be there and a 125 would be there because the base angles match. And then we know these two are supplementary. So we could do 180 minus 125, and we would get 55. So this would be 55. So the measure of angle D is 55 degrees. But the only way we were able to solve that is because it was an isosceles trapezoid. Otherwise, we're stuck on that one. Okay, the next problem wants us to find the measure of angle L, which I can do. What is the measure of angle L? It is 140 because 180 minus 40 is 140. Agreed. We didn't need the fact that it was this kind of trapezoid, but notice the 5 and the 5 on both sides mean this is an isosceles trapezoid. So if they had asked you for angle M, you know it would match. It would be 140. If they had asked you for J, it would also be 40. The angles would match. The base angles would match because it is an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, are there any questions about this? So no matter what, the two angles on the same side are supplementary. The question is, do the base angles match? And the answer is only yes if it's an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so we agree that so far this is a little easy. So of course, again, they got to step it up a notch. I think they think you've already spent enough time on diagonal problems in life. So we get to this thing. This line drawn down the middle of a trapezoid is known as the midsegment. It's known as the midsegment. Notice that it's parallel to each base. If you want to add the arrowhead, you can. Notice that it's parallel to each base. And then it says its measure is 1/2 the sum of the bases, and my trapezoid is supposed to be labeled. I don't know why they didn't copy. It's supposed to be A, B, C, F, E, D, and then that formula would make sense. But I don't look at it like that. I think of it as, oh, also, the midsegment's also called the median. I've seen it referred to as the median on standardized tests, so I don't need to miss it because of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to label this base as base 1, just because he's on top. I'm going to label the bottom base as base 2. And instead of having a confusing formula with all the letters, I'm going to say the base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 gives you the midsegment. I think that's so much easier to remember. I will probably be a sap and give you that on the test, but you seriously should learn it because you will need it for a standardized test. I might not give it to you. I don't know. I really shouldn't. That's an easy one. Okay, so we see a problem. Number 3 says HJ is 32, LK is 60, and they want us to find MN. Well, I'm going to use this formula. Base 1 is 32, base 2 is 60, divided by 2, I get 92 over 2, which is 46. So MN is 46. Are there any questions about this? You add the two bases, divide by 2, you have the midsegment. Okay, and then we see another problem, still using the same trapezoid. They say HJ is 18 and MN is 28, and they want you to find LK. This problem is harder because they didn't give me the two bases. They gave me the midsegment. So it's going to take us a second. Okay, the formula was base 1 plus base 2 over 2 gives you the mid-segment. But this one's no fun. I can plug in base 1 as 18, but I don't have a number to put in for base 2. I'm just going to put an X. But I do have a number I can plug in for the mid-segment. I can plug in 28. So if I multiply both sides by 2, I would have 18 plus X equals, oh, Miss Compton can't do math this morning, 56. And if I subtract 18 from both sides, I get, I don't know what that is, 38. So X equals 38, or more specifically, LK equals 38. Number 4, I put a star by, because number 4 is obviously the way they make it difficult. They make you solve for one of the bases and not the mid-segment. Derek?
Was that supposed to turn into a study?
Yes. The last one, yes. You're full of random questions today. I like it, though. Okay, are there any questions about number 4? I put a star by it because to me that's the hardest one of the day. Number 3 I can do. When they give me the two bases, I add them, divide by 2. That's easy. It's when you're given the mid-segment and you have to solve for a base that you have a problem. Okay, we're going to stop here because kites is Monday's problem. I gave you a 6-6 worksheet. It was on the podium. You could go ahead and do those trapezoid problems. Or, lo and behold, I bet you haven't finished your 6-4 and 6-5 worksheet. You need to make sure you finish those.